You might have heard the saying about not meeting your idols, and in many cases that wisdom rings true. Some celebrities, despite their charming on-screen personas, have earned a reputation for being downright unpleasant in real life. This list highlights 20 beloved figures who, when the cameras stop rolling, reveal a much darker side. If you ever find yourself in the same space as these individuals, it's wise to think twice before approaching them for an autograph. You might encounter a cold shoulder, or worse, a rude remark that could leave you feeling embarrassed. While some may simply brush you off, others have been known to unleash their tempers or respond with harsh words. Their public image may shine bright, but behind the scenes, they can be anything but friendly. It's a reminder that fame does not always equate to kindness, and sometimes the reality of a celebrity's personality can be a stark contrast to the characters they portray. Reports indicate that Jared Leto, known for his recent portrayal of the Joker in Suicide Squad, has had a complicated relationship with both fans and castmates. While he has a dedicated fan base, he has found himself on the wrong side of public opinion due to allegations of rude behavior on set. For instance, it was reported that he sent his castmates unusual gifts such as bullets, anal beads, and used condoms. Many interpreted these actions as part of his method acting approach. However, others found them to be more annoying than artistic. This tendency to go overboard with his antics has led to questions about his professionalism. Additionally, Leto has faced backlash for his hostile behavior towards fans. Some have claimed that he mistreats women, using them, and then discarding them without consideration. This has sparked discussions on platforms like Reddit, where users have shared detailed stories and allegations, including concerns about his interest in underage girls. While these claims remain unverified, they contribute to a growing list of documented instances that leave many shaking their heads at his actions. Tobey Maguire might be an okay actor, but his treatment of others leaves much to be desired. There's a story about him being out one night chatting with a cocktail waitress. Instead of leaving her a tip, he decided that she made too much money. He asked her to bark like a seal who wants a fish for $1,000. When she laughed it off, he insisted that she actually do it. This bizarre encounter paints a picture of the strange behavior that can sometimes be found in Hollywood. A casting director even went so far as to label Maguire as the worst little monster you've ever met. After hearing that anecdote, after hearing such stories, many are inclined to agree. On set, there is a peculiar rule where no one is allowed to make eye contact with him, which is typical diva behavior among actors. Less commonly known is his preference for people to address him as Tugboat Maguire or Tugboat Toby. It's hard to believe this is not fiction, and many wish they could erase it from memory. While Kirstie Alley may present herself as friendly in interviews, her actions tell a different story. When one of her close friends left Scientology, Alley took to Twitter to publicly criticize and attack her former friend, engaging in a public feud that hardly paints her as a great person. Her derogatory comments, including a tweet that read, "Haha, I love talking smack," revealed a penchant for hostility that seems to outweigh the value she places on friendships. This behavior has not gone unnoticed, leading many other celebrities to be hesitant about working with her, a decision that appears quite justified. Some of her most controversial actions include making inflammatory statements, such as linking psychiatric drugs to mass shooters. Additionally, she sparked outrage by posting a picture of Stephen Hawking after his passing, accompanied by the words, "You had a good go at it, thanks for the input." Such actions tarnish her reputation, and it is regrettable that she has essentially blacklisted herself from the industry, despite not being the worst actor in the world. The image of Reese Witherspoon as the quintessential American sweetheart is being called into question, revealing a side that may not align with her on-screen persona. Disappointingly, it seems her charming public image might be just that, an image. Allegations of self-entitlement surfaced when she and her husband were pulled over for weaving in and out of traffic lanes. Instead of cooperating with the officer, reports suggest she asserted her status by saying, "Do you know my name? You're about to find out who I am." This incident led to her arrest for disorderly conduct. Sources from Star magazine paint a less than flattering picture of Witherspoon, describing her as anything but sweet. The staff allegedly tiptoed around her to avoid upsetting her, going to great lengths to cater to her demands. It has been reported that she refuses to remove her sunglasses, creating an atmosphere where making eye contact is strictly off-limits. The dynamics with her husband, Jim, suggest a power imbalance, with efforts to portray him as having the upper hand. Seeing Reese in this light is disheartening for those who admired her as America's sweetheart. It is troubling to witness such behavior from someone once seen as a role model. While Ben Stiller is known for making audiences laugh in films, reports suggest that his real-life demeanor is less than friendly. It seems that some of the funniest people can also have a mean streak. Stiller's behavior has been described as entitled, which is not surprising for someone who grew up in a Hollywood family. One notable incident involves Stiller having a meltdown over the absence of 2 ice cubes in his Diet Coke. Such freakouts often lack logic, and this was no exception. In another example of his perceived entitlement, he reportedly has his personal assistant guard his parking spot, ensuring that no one else parks there. You would think that someone as famous as him could find a more efficient way to handle parking. A Reddit user who worked on the set of Tropic Thunder shared that Stiller was not the friendliest person around. This user recounted an incident where Stiller fired an employee simply because he thought there was not enough sugar in his coffee. It is clear that Stiller has strong opinions about his beverages, reflecting a demanding personality that some find difficult to work with. Jonah Hill might make a living as a comedian, but his sense of humor does not always translate well in social situations. In one memorable interview, when the host jokingly referred to him as Seth, Jonah responded with a deadpan remark that set a tense tone for the rest of the conversation. This reaction made it challenging for the interviewer to proceed, as Jonah offered very little to work with, creating an awkward atmosphere. It seems that he was not in the mood for jokes that day, and his demeanor suggested that his feelings might have been slightly hurt. People who have spent time with Jonah often comment on how difficult he can be. In an interview with Howard Stern, Jonah made statements like, "Out of respect for myself, I'm going to finish my thought." This moment highlighted the arrogance present in both Jonah and Howard, revealing how neither was willing to back down. Such interactions show that Jonah struggles to navigate interviews without making others feel uncomfortable. His tendency to put people in awkward situations has become a notable aspect of his public persona, suggesting that while he is a talented actor and comedian, his approach to humor and conversation can sometimes leave much to be desired. While many people still hold a fondness for Tom Cruise, there's a growing sentiment in Hollywood that questions his behavior. Cruise became notorious for establishing peculiar rules with Katie Holmes both during and after their marriage. After their split, he reportedly prohibited her from seeing other men and even restricted her travel with their daughter. Additionally, she was forbidden from talking to Cruise's other ex, Nicole Kidman. This behavior raises eyebrows and seems far from the pinnacle of stable and mature conduct. Moreover, Cruise's regular outbursts about Scientology only add to the perplexity surrounding him. Many wonder who would want to be subjected to his views, especially when they revolve around a religion that includes space aliens. It's not just the Scientology aspect that raises concerns. Reports indicate that he instructed Navy sailors not to speak or even look at him while filming Top Gun 2. This attitude seems to lack respect for the troops, which is troubling to many. With such peculiar rules and behaviors, it's no wonder that some are starting to see a different side of Tom Cruise. While you might remember him fondly as Austin Powers, it turns out Mike Myers isn't as groovy baby as his iconic character. His controlling behavior and narcissism have tarnished his public image. One incident that stands out involved him not signing an autograph for a company that produced toys based on his characters. This company was excited to create merchandise that celebrated his work, but Myers refused to acknowledge their efforts. Later, he demanded that their products be rushed to him overnight, but refused to pay for the shipping costs. This behavior reflects a lack of respect for those who support his career. Additionally, Myers is infamous for insisting that the entire Shrek film be redone because he suddenly decided the character should have a Scottish accent. While he may have had a point about the character's voice, the decision to jeopardize the whole production with such a major revision seems extreme. Imagine Shrek without that iconic accent. It would have changed everything. His reputation has led Hollywood to steer clear of casting him, with many who have worked directly with the comedian describing him as insufferable. This pattern of behavior has made it difficult for him to maintain positive relationships in the industry, leaving a lasting impression that overshadows his comedic talents. Seeking Cameron Diaz's autograph might not be the wisest decision. Many fans have come to regret the experience, as she has earned a reputation for being one of the worst celebrities to approach. When asked for an autograph, it's not just a simple no. She goes further by lecturing fans on why asking for autographs is a foolish endeavor. This adds insult to injury, as fans are left not only disappointed but also scolded by someone who seems to take on a maternal role. At a party hosted by Drew Barrymore, Cameron made quite an impression. Instead of mingling and enjoying the festivities, she spent a significant amount of time chain smoking. Guests reported that when they asked her for a cigarette, she refused, calling it a rude request. While asking to share a cigarette can be a tricky business, her lack of engagement with others at the party crossed a line into rudeness. It seems that Cameron prefers the company of her cigarettes, leaving others feeling unwelcome and eager to steer clear of her. William Shatner's Comedy Central roast stands out as a memorable event, allowing various stars to express years of built-up frustration towards him. His reputation as a supposed Hollywood grouch stems from his behavior on the set of Star Trek, which led to many of his co-stars harboring negative feelings toward him. This unflattering image earned him the nickname Captain Jerk. The nickname, while lacking in creativity, effectively captures the sentiments shared by those who have worked with him. His reputation took a further hit when he notably did not attend Leonard Nimoy's funeral, a move that many found disrespectful. At fan conventions, Shatner's significant ego often overshadows the experience for both fans and fellow actors. There was an incident where he yelled at Denise Crosby, known for her role as Tasha Yar, whenever she attempted to answer questions from the audience. Observing his treatment of co-stars makes it difficult for fans to maintain any respect for him. His negative behavior seems to be alienating the few fans who are still willing to support him, suggesting that he may soon find himself without any loyal followers left to upset. Shia LaBeouf has given us plenty of reasons not to be fans. One glaring example of his lousy attitude is when he blatantly plagiarized an entire screenplay. Yes, you heard that right. He essentially took an existing script, copied it word for word, and tried to pass it off as his own without expecting anyone to notice. The work in question belonged to comic writer Daniel Clowes. When the plagiarism was exposed, Shia seemed genuinely surprised that people cared. Talk about audacity. However, Shia's troubling behavior doesn't end there. A more recent instance involves FKA Twigs, who took him to court, accusing him of physical and emotional abuse. This lawsuit does not seem like a stretch given Shia's track record. It goes beyond just being a jerk, it reveals a darker side to his character. Past girlfriends have also come forward, supporting Twigs' claims by sharing their own experiences of abuse. These allegations paint a troubling picture of Shia LaBeouf, showcasing a pattern of troubling behavior that raises serious concerns about his character and actions. Candace Cameron Bure has had quite a wholesome career. Many of us remember her as DJ Tanner on Full House, and she's become a staple in Hallmark rom-coms, arguably more than anyone else in the field, except maybe her former Full House co-star Lori Loughlin, whose reputation has had its ups and downs. Known for her outspoken conservative Christian values, you might expect Candace to be friendly in person. However, that's not exactly the case, at least according to Jojo Siwa in a recent TikTok that went viral. The YouTuber labeled Candace as the rudest celebrity she'd ever met. Their encounter took place at the Fuller House premiere in 2016, when Jojo was just around 14 years old. According to Jojo, who later called Candace out and shared the details in a lengthy Instagram video, the perceived rudeness stemmed from Candace declining to take a picture with Jojo at the event. Candace insists it wasn't a big deal, and all seems to be well between them now. In the world of show business, Russell Crowe is known for having a sizable ego, a trait that is not uncommon among actors. His name often appears in the news, typically for his outspoken comments about other industry figures. One notable incident involved him calling George Clooney a Frank Sinatra wannabe. Clooney responded humorously, questioning Crowe's motives by pointing out that the only ones who benefit from two famous people fighting are tabloid magazines. This exchange highlights Crowe's tendency to stir the pot and create drama. Another infamous story from Crowe's career occurred during the filming of Gladiator. He reportedly made 300 AM calls to the producer, unleashing a barrage of screams, threats, and even promises to kill him with his bare hands. The reason behind this outburst was Crowe's belief that DreamWorks had lowballed one of his assistants. While standing up for your team is commendable, issuing murder threats is hardly an effective way to negotiate. Crowe's behavior exemplifies the darker side of fame, where ego and aggression can overshadow talent and professionalism. Once a fan favorite on the medical drama Grey's Anatomy, Patrick Dempsey's time on the show took a turn as he became known for his diva-like behavior on set. The phenomenon of fame can often transform personalities, and Dempsey was no exception. Reports of his disrespectful conduct toward both the cast and crew surfaced, leading to significant tension behind the scenes. Despite his on-screen persona as the charming Dr. Derek Shepherd, affectionately known as McDreamy, the reality was that his behavior was far from charming. This situation became widely recognized, particularly after experiences shared by those working with him. Shonda Rhimes, the show's creator and showrunner, took a stand against such disruptive behavior by implementing a no-jerks policy, a decision that reflected the existing drama and challenges on set. While fans may still mourn the loss of McDreamy, it is likely that his co-workers felt a sense of relief once Dempsey departed. The atmosphere on set improved, allowing for a more collaborative and respectful environment. This shift highlights how challenging personalities can impact the dynamics of a production, and many can empathize with the relief felt by those who worked closely with him. In 2001, Terrence Howard was involved in a serious incident when he physically assaulted his first wife, Lori McCamus. This altercation occurred because McCamus spoke to him in a way that he perceived as too aggressive. Just a few years later, in 2005, Howard again found himself in trouble when he punched his second wife, Michelle Gent. The situation escalated in 2010 when Gent accused Howard of throwing her across a hotel room. She claimed that he took her to the balcony and threatened to toss her over the railing, highlighting a pattern of troubling behavior in his personal life. Howard's issues are not limited to his relationships. His professional life has also been marked by conflict. He was let go from the successful film Iron Man, with Don Cheadle stepping in to take his place. Reports suggest that Howard's departure was due to his demands for more money, which the studio did not meet. Following his exit, he continued to voice his grievances about the situation, often placing blame on Robert Downey Jr. This is particularly ironic given that Downey Jr. has been known to advocate for equal pay among his co-stars on The Avengers. Set. The combination of Howard's personal and professional controversies paints a picture of a complicated figure in Hollywood. Katherine Heigl soared to success in both TV and film in a remarkably short time, but her career hit a snag due to her reputation. Not one to hold back, Heigl earned a name for herself by openly criticizing her own projects and speaking harshly about her fellow celebrities. While talking behind backs is a Hollywood tradition, most stars tend to be discreet about it, choosing privacy over public outbursts. However, that's just not Katherine Heigl's style. In a bold move, she once turned down an Emmy nomination for Grey's Anatomy, expressing her belief that the show's writing didn't deserve the recognition. This decision likely left her fellow contenders feeling disappointed to see her step away from the honor. Heigl also took aim at Knocked Up, deeming it hateful toward women, which stirred controversy in the industry. In 2010, she demanded a whopping $3 million to appear in Valentine's Day, a rather outrageous request considering it was an ensemble film where her on-set time wouldn't be extensive. Her actions and comments have certainly shaped her public image in a way that has led to mixed feelings among fans and colleagues alike. Despite her cute and quirky public persona, Zooey Deschanel has received less flattering descriptions from her castmates throughout her career. Terms like nasty, moody, and unhappy have been thrown around, and while those might technically fall under the quirky umbrella, they are a far cry from being cute. She is known to wield a strong influence on set, often taking charge, and sometimes exhibiting less than pleasant behavior when schedules do not align with her preferences. According to one producer, she earned the title of a horrible boss, and it doesn't seem like an exaggeration. When disruptions inevitably occurred on set, she would halt filming abruptly, treat others poorly, and occasionally not show up at all. This behavior could be likened to a temper tantrum, reflecting a lack of professionalism that many found troubling. These issues on set might explain why she is not as prominent in the limelight these days. Contrary to the widely held belief that Sandra Bullock is a sweetheart, her off-camera demeanor doesn't quite match the public image she cultivates when the cameras are rolling. While it is generally acceptable for celebrities to decline autograph requests, it crosses a line when they resort to insulting fans. In a particular incident, a disabled veteran requested Bullock's autograph and was met with an unexpected response. Instead of a polite refusal, she covered her face and verbally abused him, which shocked many who viewed her as a kind and approachable star. The aftermath of this incident surely posed quite a challenge for her PR team as they attempted to smooth things over with the public. Adding to the complexity of her public perception is her ex-husband Jesse James, who claimed in an interview that he cheated on Bullock because he felt inferior due to her allegedly controlling behavior. While acknowledging James's reputation as a known jerk, especially regarding infidelity, it is important to take his statements with a grain of salt. However, considering the accounts of others that align with his narrative. Dismissing his claims outright might be premature. When viewed in the context of other instances of less than ideal behavior attributed to Bullock, his explanation does not seem far-fetched at all. Johnny Depp's reputation is marred by a history of violent incidents, often involving altercations on set. During the filming of City of Lies, Depp faced a lawsuit for allegedly assaulting the location manager not once, but twice. This perplexing scenario raises questions about the manager's actions from Depp's perspective. In 1994, Depp caused $10,000 in damages by completely destroying a hotel room and attempted to shift blame to an armadillo, showcasing a troubling pattern of behavior. The dynamics on set appear equally troublesome, as former managers have disclosed that Depp seems to believe he no longer needs to learn his lines, a fundamental responsibility for any actor. While this attitude might be influenced by his extensive collaboration with Tim Burton, who allows for creative freedom, it does not justify neglecting other directors who invest considerable effort in their films. Such behavior reflects a deeper issue within Depp's professional conduct and raises concerns about his treatment of colleagues and the industry as a whole. From music to movies and TV, Christina Aguilera has effortlessly navigated through various facets of Hollywood, earning her a dedicated fan base over the decades. Unfortunately, like many in Tinseltown, she appears to have fallen into the trap of exhibiting jerky behavior. This is a disappointing turn, though not entirely unexpected. The intertwining of fame and unpleasant conduct is a common narrative, much as we wish it weren't, and Aguilera is no exception to this trend. In the early 2000s, she raised eyebrows with sometimes blunt remarks about fellow musicians like Mariah Carey, Britney Spears, and Pink. Such comments showcased a side of her that many found off-putting. However, it appears her less than stellar behavior didn't conclude with her pop diva era. Reports suggest she has been aloof and distant, not discriminating between interviewers and fans. On-set rumors surfaced when she announced her departure from The Voice, with allegations that several of her fellow judges couldn't stand working with her. This behavior has led to a mixed legacy, as fans grapple with the talent they admire and the personality that often disappoints.